Alright. So I am about to ask you questions about youth marketing and how it affects the youth psychologically
Hmm.
and sometimes even emotionally. Let's begin. What is your point of on youth marketing that's directed to teenagers?
What is my point of view on youth marketing that's directed to teenagers? Can you narrow it a little bit? Like what kind of marketing
Yeah,
are you talking
youth
about?
marketing is like created advertisements that are like, for example, that proactive commercial.
Okay.
It's like making them want to, like,
Okay.
I gotta have this.
Okay. So my point of view when it comes to youth marketing is that advertisers are trying to get youth to buy their products because they want to make money, and young people are a good sort of population with cash to spend because they don't necessarily have like bills to pay that their parents might, if they're, um, yeah. I think the byproduct of that, though, is that advertisers use things like sexism and racism and materialism, and they glorify things that are actually wrong with the world, in my point of view, to get high schoolers or teenagers to buy their products. And what that does is, even if they don't end up buying the product or they forget about it next week, they're going to remember those messages that they learned about women and how they should have certain types of bodies and look a certain way, or about men and how they should be tough and masculine. And so I think that marketing is a very important thing to look at with a critical eye, not just at the product, but what's behind the product.
Okay, how do you influence media on youth?
Um, I teach youth media through Free Spirit Media, so it's one of my goals in teaching to do two things. One is to get young people to look at the media with that sort of double lens, to be able to see at face value what's happening, what's in the image, like how did they set it up, but also what's the hidden message, what's behind it, what other messages besides the product are they selling. So did they show you that she has like straight hair to tell you that every girl should want straight long hair in order to sell their shampoo? Um, and then my other goal is to empower youth to make their own media. I think that's what we need in the world, is people to not just be able to critique things, but actually produce their own. I once saw somebody tweet a really cool thing that said, sick of mainstream media. What did they say? It was something like, uh, be the Twitter you wish to see in the world, or something like that. So it's really important that you have an ability to express your ideas.
Um, do you believe that television advertisements should be aiming directly at the youth? For example, the teenagers?
Um, it's interesting. It's an idea of should they be aimed directly at people. I think part of smart marketing is to pick an audience and to craft messages for that audience. I know I teach people to do that when they're making media. Who are you trying to craft this message for, and how can you appeal to them? Are you going to use humor? Are you going to have like cultural references to a TV show everybody likes? So I don't think it's necessarily bad that teenagers are targeted. I think it's the way in which they're targeted and the fact that there's no sort of like limitations to that targeting. Any advertisers have so much free reign right now to kind of shape teenagers' ideas and influences. Also because there aren't enough like courses in schools that actually talk about the influence of the media on our lives. I grew up watching probably 4 hours of TV every day. I'm part of that generation, and I don't even know all the things that I learned as a result of that. And I never had like a class where I could dissect the media and understand it. So it's not that they shouldn't. It's just that there should also be other avenues for people to talk about the media and question the media.
Okay. Do you think it's reasonable to put on all advertisements that are aimed at kids while there are cartoons on TV?
Um, I again, it's an issue of like, I don't know if I want to ban things, but I would love to see more like kid-targeted messages that are like, you know, that have like revolutionary messages or revolutionary ideas, like you're going to be great no matter what, and whatever you're interested in is special and valuable. Like, how great would it be if, like, to sell cereal, instead of showing the kid like nagging their mom, they showed like, you know, I can't come up with a cereal commercial, but something that promoted values other than like materialism or stereotypical roles for who's in the house and stuff. I want a diversity of advertisements for young people, not more of the same.
Good. Now, if you were responsible for creating advertisements, would you want to make ads that would be aimed directly at teenagers, or would you work your way around and make it?
Yeah, for like all audiences.
Yeah.
I think it depends on what I was advertising. I think I love working with youth. I think teenagers are a really important part of society who kind of get forgotten by everyone except advertisers. It seems like sometimes teachers try, but so yeah, I think, you know, if I had some message I wanted to get out there, or something that I was trying to promote, again, I don't think that I would use it to like sell a product as much as sell ideas that we don't hear about enough, like valuing each other and sharing resources and, you know, investing in our communities. So.
Like that. If there was anything you can do to change the way youth marketing happens, how would it be, or what would it be?
That's a really good question. How would I change youth marketing? I feel like I would put like I don't know, the same way that like, you know, you have anti-discrimination laws in like workplaces. I would want there to be some sort of like, almost something that like advertisements have to go through before they can get on TV. Like every time I see a Jimmy John's ad, I get really mad because I'm like, seriously, that's still okay to put really racist stuff on TV of like, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen the one of the family in the car.
Yeah.
Who like, you know, they're in the hood and they're like, you know, the thugs are like, oh, we look scary. And so then they roll up the windows and it's this white family that's like, what should we do? And then they call Jimmy John's. There was another one during the Super Bowl too that was just like, what, you know, I'm sick of racism in the media. Like, you know, racism's been around for 500 years. The media's been around for, you know, not as many. Like, it's about time that we start to put in the media the ideas that we are, you know, the things that we want to see changing in society, right? Like, Civil Rights Act passed 50 years ago. Why is this still okay? You know, we say we're colorblind, but I think that's just a veil. You know, I think people want to say that so they can mask other forms of oppression.
Yeah. Is there a possible solution that you think can decrease the amount of ads that are shown and aimed directly at the youth specifically?
Yeah, stop, put caps on CEOs' salaries so that advertising conglomerates can't just keep coming up with ways to make money off of young people. Like the fact that YouTube has as many commercials on it as it does, and Vimeo. Wait, I don't know if they have commercials yet, but YouTube has commercials, and what's it called? Vimeo? Yeah, so you have to watch commercials, or Hulu, you have to watch commercials. Sooner or later, they're going to get Netflix, you have to watch commercials. It's just like, anytime you want to access any form of like commercial media, you have to watch their ads first. So I would put a cap on salaries, but also on like the amount of advertising that's allowed. You know, if I'm watching a 30-second YouTube video, I shouldn't have to watch a 30-second advertisement. And so creating some more regulations around that protect the consumer and protect young people from this sort of barrage of advertisers. Because I think right now what's in place, you know, protects the people who are already like very wealthy, and who are not themselves teenagers, and who themselves like don't embody the like diversity of this country. So I would say some more regulations, just I don't know. It's interesting that they think being able to turn everything into a market, like being able to have ads on YouTube videos, is like good for business. When really, I think it's bad for people. So keep YouTube free for us. That's
So, me and my teammates, we are trying to take action upon this issue, and we're trying to bring it to the attention of Ricardo Munoz, our district officer. Now, we would want to know, like, in your opinion, would you support me and my team if we took action upon this issue?
Absolutely. And I would want to know, like, what that action looks like for you, like what you're going to do, and how other people can get involved in supporting you, and how me as a youth media instructor, how I can, you know, if you're able to, like, do some action around this and have some success, how I could then take that and try and replicate it with other young people.